Hi there, you're watching Midwinter Minis. I'm Guy, and this is Penny.
Hello!
And in this video, we're going to cover 23 things that you can start doing right now that are either totally free or use stuff you probably already have, which will make you better at painting models.
We hate boring intros, so let's get started. Number 1. Thin your paints. Using raw paint straight from the pot will often obscure a model's fine details. It won't flow as nicely, and it'll dry with texture. Thin your paint with a tiny bit of water so that it flows nicely and dries flat. There's no golden rule for how thin to make your paint. How much you thin it by varies with every paint and what you're painting, and this leads us on to point number 2.
Test your paint before you paint your model. Keep a bit of primed scrap plastic near your painting area and paint it with white, grey and black strips. Now you'll be able to see how your paint will flow on a primed model and also see how transparent your paint is too. And once you're happy, paint your model safe in the knowledge that you've got your paint just right for what you're doing.
Number 3. Clean your mould lines. Another totally free way of painting better looking miniatures is to remove mould lines and to fix gaps before you start. It's boring and more than a little bit tedious, but it's time well spent. Mould lines, sprue links and vents will collect paint from your washes and be accentuated with dry brushing. Show them the back of your knife. Done.
Number 4. Research colour theory. I'm very fortunate to have been taught about this stuff when I was younger, and I take a lot of this for granted, but understanding how colours relate to each other, things like colour temperature and how saturation and contrast work, will totally change the way you paint minis and make you more confident when planning out your colour schemes.
Point 5. Mix your own colours. Relying on pre-mixed colours will only get you so far. It's a massive waste of money to buy a whole paint just for a tiny accent colour that you'll hardly use, so don't be afraid to mix your own paints to create custom colours. If making a large batch of a particular colour, store it in a little food container or an empty dropper bottle.
And totally related to that, number 6 on our list is experiment. Don't be afraid to try out new things. More than likely you'll be happy with the end result. Did I know what a Grelin Earth would look like on a mini before I made my sandstone Necrons? Nope. That time it obviously worked out, but if you don't like the results, you'll be more experienced the next time and a better painter than you were before.
Number 7. Look after your brushes. Never leave them sitting in water with the bristles down. This ruins their shape. Try not to let paint get all the way up to the metal ferrule, as this will dry and make the hairs split. You don't have to use expensive brush cleaner. A tiny bit of toothpaste or shampoo will remove built-up paint. Try to reshape the brush to a point after you've washed the paint out. You can run it between your lips to help keep the shape as well. Saucy.
Number 8 might almost seem too obvious, but you need to nail the basics. Spend time perfecting the way you prime. Practice getting even, smooth base coats and clean lines. Refine the way you dry brush and improve the way you apply glazes and shades. You'll use these core skills every time you paint, and the more time you spend doing them, the better and faster you'll get. Draw a shape and challenge yourself to fill it in quickly and accurately. Paint tight lines as a little exercise. Write a sentence with your brush. All these little things will help your control and make you a better mini painter.
Number 9. Sure, you want to practice, but you don't want to potentially ruin your expensive miniature in the process. No problem. Try stuff out on toys. If you have kids or have friends or relatives with kids, see if you can get some of their old toys to experiment on. You can pick up dinosaurs and toy soldiers for next to nothing, even if you can't bag yourself some freebies. They may be low detail, but they're a great way to try out colour schemes and new techniques.
Number 10. Keep your workspace organised. If you're lucky enough to have a desk to paint at, try to keep everything you might need within arm's reach and sort your paints by colours. If you paint wherever and whenever you can, make yourself a little project box so that you can keep your colours and models at hand, ready to paint whenever you find the time.
11. Use junk. One of the best free resources for the budget painter is rubbish. Honestly, the stuff that you would throw out or recycle can be turned into cool hobby fodder. This factory? A shoebox, scraps, food containers and unused bits. This shantytown? Just offcuts of foam board and corrugated card. Creating your own terrain, experimenting with materials and painting big projects is an awesome way to expand your skills as a painter and hobbyist.
Number 12. Stop using tiny brushes and get used to painting with the biggest brush you can. No, not that big. Big brushes can hold more paint, keep it workable for longer, and are more hardy in the long term. Using small brushes all the time makes painting take ages and prematurely ages the brush.
Another great way to become a better painter is to teach somebody else. Whatever your level, teaching somebody who's totally new to the hobby will, at the very least, let you grow and become better painters together. You'll probably find that by correcting and helping someone else, you'll get a better idea of what works and what doesn't for your own projects.
Number 14, ask for help. Been to a gaming store and seen someone's awesome paint job? Just ask them how they did it. Maybe you like the blue armor or a specific skin tone. Telling someone you really love their paint job and asking them how they achieved it is A, a really nice thing to do, and I'm sure they'll really appreciate the compliment, and B, a great way to learn and improve yourself. Now, if you feel like nothing ever goes right for you, you'll probably love number 15.
Make mistakes. Mistakes are an essential part of the learning process. We never used to prime our miniatures and just use the acrylic paint straight on the bare plastic. Then when Guy started painting the Beastmen Necromunda gang, we were horrified that the paint kept falling off really easily. Now we prime everything. You live, you learn. Don't be afraid of making mistakes, as everything you do wrong now will make you a better painter in the future.
Another great way to push yourself to improve is to get inspired. When I started learning in the 90s, my only real reference was White Dwarf, but now with YouTube, hobby sites, Instagram and social media communities, you can find incredible paint jobs and guides all over the place. Using these resources is a great way to learn new techniques and get motivated. I'll put up some of my personal recommendations in the video description if you want to check out some of the channels that I love. Now, getting inspired is obviously important, but point 17 is...
Don't get too inspired. Watching is great, researching is great, reading is great, but procrastination is your enemy. We're all guilty of it, and while watching tutorials and guides for hours on end is quite fun, it's no replacement for actually getting hands-on and painting your own miniatures. Try killing two birds with one stone and play some tutorials while you work on your own models. Another pitfall of watching too many awesome tutorials is that you might feel that you can never achieve the same results. Don't worry about that. The important thing is that you enjoy painting and you like the result that you get. And certainly don't compare yourself to someone who literally does this stuff for a living.
Point 18, lighting. But Guy, lights aren't free. I think you might be forgetting something. If the light setup where you paint isn't ideal, don't be afraid to paint near a window. Cloudy days are your friend, as all that diffused light will make your colours much easier to see and won't cast as many shadows on your mini.
Number 19. Use your phone. If you're watching this video in the first place, we are assuming you have some sort of phone or tablet that can also take photos. Don't be afraid to take photos of your own models and critique your work. Before you call something done, look for spots you might have missed or areas that could be neatened up.
Now this one might drive some of you crazy, but point 20 is to keep your old models. As you progress, learn new techniques and refine your old ones, it'll be tempting to revisit your old models and either strip them and start again or apply your new skills to them. And while that obviously has a benefit, it's useful to keep some of your old, early models around to compare and see just how far you've come. Becoming a better painter isn't just a physical skill, it's a psychological one too.
Point 21. Keep a note of your recipes. Chances are you won't paint a whole army in one go, so keeping track of your steps and the paints you used will help you create consistent results over time. Make a photo diary or just write stuff down in a notebook. If you're really a sucker for punishment, make your own YouTube channel.
Number 22. Use references. If you're stuck for a colour scheme and need a bit of inspiration, go for a walk. You'll find cool colour schemes everywhere. Animals, buildings, clothes, even the floor. How about weathering and damage? Old trucks and warehouses are a goldmine. Live in a boring place? Image search is your friend. Print out some pictures if you like and try to match the colours on the actual page.
And finally, point 23, the most simple and most important tip of them all. Subscribe to Midwinter Minis. You'll find loads of fast, effective painting tutorials that will help get your models looking great in beginner-friendly steps. Do you have any more free hobby tips you'd like to share? Please leave them in the comments. We'd love to hear your ideas, and I'm sure other viewers would too.
We hope you've enjoyed the video. Hit the like button if you think we deserve it, and if you'd like to support the channel, check out our Patreon. Oh, also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. And that's it for this video. Bye for now.
Bye!
Also, we can't forget to thank our new patrons Stuart, BlueSun2517, Tim, Trey, Al Calvador, Rob, Jeff, Oliver, Anderson, Daniel, Fabien, Artur, Stephen, Michael, Zach and Sven. I think a lot of people liked our previous video. If you want to check out the Gellerpox infected video, it should be on screen right now.